A milestone night is upon us as Connor McDavid shoots to become the 99th player in NHL history to reach 1,000 points. We get you set for the Oilers and Predators right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you inside the EST Satellite Studios in downtown Edmonton, just outside of Ice District, and down at our global HQ is the one and only Latino Heat, Hernan, the man Salas, and Matty Cassian is back in tow as our game analyst for tonight. The Oilers and the Preds closing out the season series. Edmonton 2-0 thus far versus Nashville, looking to make it a clean sweep. I like their chances. As always, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Join the conversation. Hit us up on the text line, 780-218-9999, making your way to the game perhaps. Or if you're at home watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat. I saw VR Montenegro checking in. I saw a couple of others check. I see Rip City Step. I see Bryce the Sparky. I see Rob from the Grove and Matt Hyman. What's up, everybody? Box Pounder was the first one in there tonight. Should be a fun one as we get you set for the Oilers and the Preds. Edmonton closing out a 2-game homestand. All right, Nancito, are you doing all right? Are you a busy boy?
Doing excellent here.
All
just,
right, good.
I was just relaxing, waiting for the show to get going here, and just listening to Reed. And it's a busy day on game days, but exciting, man. Like you said, it's a team the Oilers should beat, not take lightly. Sorry, not likely. And it's a big day for number 97. We'll see if he can, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Join milestone.
Milestone history, all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a fun night down at Rogers Place. 11-7, Tom. I know you're going to get to it.
Yep.
It's always not the sexiest, but Arvidsson looks like he's day-to-day right now. And then Calvin Pickard in net, he's been good so far this season. He's picked up a couple of wins against Nashville. I think it's him 2-0, yeah. I'm excited to see what the Oilers bring tonight, and hopefully they can pick up their third straight win, and hopefully McDavid can hit 1,000. But like I said, it's just another game day for the Oilers. But more importantly than the McDavid stuff, I think it's something they need to build. They need to put a string of wins together here. Yes. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Very good point. The Oilers beating the Preds 4-2 in Nashville on the 17th of October, and then repeating it 2 weeks ago, October 31st, Halloween, 5-1. Both of those goaltender matchups were Pickard versus Saros. That's what we're anticipating again tonight. The Oilers looking for their first 3-game winning streak of the season. They've done it twice where they've gotten back-to-back wins. They did it against Philly and Nashville. They did it again against Pittsburgh and Detroit. They did it against Nashville and Calgary. They've got wins against Vancouver and the Islanders. The other one coming on Tuesday in a 4-3 overtime victory, so a chance to make it 3 in a row. All right, Hernan, I know we have Chris Mason coming up shortly, Preds analyst, former goaltender for the Nashville Predators, Edmonton boy as well. But before we get to that, I have to add that I saw your cousin Eddie, Eduardo, today. I had to go make a visit to the Oilers team store, and Eddie was in fine form, and he let me know a little secret that you actually got your broadcasting start with him.
Yes.
With him. You guys would pretend to be Rod Phillips and Morley Scott back in the day. You were Rod, he was Morley. Is that right?
Yeah, I always tell the story, and I remember telling Morley, and he's like, oh, boy, you could have picked someone else to be. But, we used to record radio shows. We used to do sports shows, but just fun. We were just kids, right? And he does it really good. Rod Phillips, of course, he's our favorite for the most part. So, that's too funny.
Ironically enough, I was at the Oilers store talking to Eddie with Jack Michaels.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was telling us that story. So, now, if you told me you and Eddie were Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer, I'd have to ask you a few questions.
No, we're a little bit old school. He's older than me by 3-4 years, but that's hilarious. That's awesome. Glad you guys were able to chat and he shared that story.
I love it. So good. All right, text us your thoughts 780-218-9999. Nancy, do you want to throw a question do you have a question of the night out there?
I do. It's a very simple one again, but it's Connor McDavid. When will he hit his 1,000 point? Will it be in the first period, second period, or third period? It's a two-parter.
Yep.
Will it be a goal or will it be an assist? So send that in to 780-218-9999 or on the Nasty Chat. In what period and what kind of point is it for Connor McDavid's 1,000?
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to go 5 minutes in or less than, and I think he's going to score. What do you think?
I think I said first period as well, but I said late in the period, and what was I going to go with? An assist. You know Connor, man, he's going to do it with an assist.
I know, but I don't know. The way he was playing the other night, the way he was like, I just wanted to be out there all night. He wanted the puck, obviously.
Yeah.
Wanted to get it over with on Tuesday. They were trying to feed it to him nonstop in the first period. Overpassing, getting too cute, all of the above. All of those terms apply for what happened on Tuesday. And he got 4. Like, he was so close to getting that 5 the other night, a magical night. I think he takes care of business relatively early in this one. And
you make a good point, Tom. Do it early so like the players are not they're not
distracted.
Going. Yeah. Tom, yeah. I'm going to need a favor, and I have to say this on air. Can you send me Chris Mason's number, because our email system's down. I've been trying to get in for the last hour, and I can't. And I know you sent it in there. So
I also texted too, but whatever.
Oh, did you? Okay, yes. Let me check my phone.
I'll send it again to you. I'll send it again.
I got it.
Right,
because you usually email it to me, but
done. It has been emailed. It has been texted.
I will work on that right now for you, okay?
All right. As you work on that, Chris Mason joining us in a minute or two here. I will get to the starting lineups for the Oilers and the Preds, as well as starting goalies. Get your texts in. Thoughts on when McDavid gets that 1,000th point tonight, and how does he get it? That is the question of the night via Hernan, the Latino Heat. Salas, text us 780-218-9999, and then get into the Nasty Chat as well. For the Oilers, McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Podkolzin paired up with Draisaitl. I say that now. You'll see in a second if you don't already know. Henrique between Janmark and Brown. Ryan with Skinner and Perry. Maybe Skinner goes up with Podkolzin and Draisaitl. Maybe somebody else does. But the Oilers are rolling with 11-7 tonight due to Victor Arvidsson's injury. Don't expect it to be too severe, according to Chris Knobloch. On defense, all 7 D-men on the roster going. Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Dermott, Kulak with Emerson, Stetcher anticipated to be the extra defenseman for the Oil. As for the Nashville Predators, this is what we're expecting. This is how they skated yesterday at the DCA. Ryan O'Reilly between Philip Forsberg and Steven Stamkos. Colton Sissons with Jonathan Marchessault and Gustav Nyquist on his wings. Juuso Parssinen with Luke Evangelista and Philip Tomasino. Michael McCarron with Cole Smith and Zachary Leroux. And then you got Brady Shea with Roman Josi, Jeremy Lauzon with Alexander Carrier, Mark Del Gazzo with Luke Shen. Out for the Preds, Mark Jankowski and Adam Wilsby. There is your lineup for Nashville and Edmonton, as Chris Mason will be joining us shortly here on the Oil Stream pregame show. He actually just texted me. Let's get to starting goalies for the Oilers. 32-year-old Calvin Pickard, 3-2 this season, 260 goals against average, 886 save percentage in 6 games this season. Pickard versus the Preds, 2 of those wins he's gotten this year came against Nashville. They're the only 2 for Pickard in his career against the Nashville Predators. He's got a 296 GAA, 912 save percentage in 7 games versus Nashville over the course of his career. We're expecting 29-year-old UC Saros to get the start for the Preds. 4-7-2 is his record this year. 264 GAA, 911 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 13 games this season. Saros versus Edmonton, 3-7-1 record, 325 GAA, 909 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in 12 games versus Edmonton over the course of his career. All right, he is good to go. He is Nashville Predators analyst Chris Mason, former netminder for them as well. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream show. Chris, appreciate it very much. Just rattled off the lineups. Listen, the Preds have managed to rattle off 4 wins in the last 11 games through a tough first 5. In your opinion, is this club starting to show signs of life and cohesion?
Could you repeat that? Sorry, just the intercom just went a little loud.
Okay, yeah. Are you starting to see some life with this Nashville team with the 4 wins in 11 games, Chris? Because it was a tough start with the 0-5 there.
Yeah, no, they had a really tough start. It was getting all the new guys in, and it took them a little bit to get acclimated. And even the guys that were here last year just couldn't really get traction going. And I think it's a bigger adjustment than they expected with having kind of those new personalities. You got Stamkos, Marchessault, Brady Shea, all guys that were leaders on their respective teams, and coming into, Nashville, and it just didn't click right for a long time. They probably played 2 of their best games, the last 2 games, even though they lost in overtime against Colorado. They played a lot better, and they're starting to look like they should in terms of the 5-on-5 play. Their special teams have been great. That's the thing that's been kind of crazy about the poor start, is they've got the best penalty kill in the National Hockey League. I think they're 10th in power play, but really struggled 5-on-5. But last 2 games were a lot better.
Are you starting to get a sense of this team's identity? I know you talk about the 5-on-5 special teams being good, but are you starting to understand them a little bit more in terms of what kind of team they can become? Because we're kind of approaching the quarter mark of the season here.
Yeah, I think they're starting to kind of figure that out. I think at the beginning of the year, I thought they thought it was going to be a little bit easier because, last season was a great season for them. It was kind of a rebuild, and they ended up having a really strong season, especially in the second half. They're just a really hard team to play against, like great work ethic, just kind of a relentless style of play. And I think they underestimated, how hard that actually was that they had to play in the second half, because they kind of got off and thought, hey, you know what? We got Stamkos, 40 goals, Marchessault, 42 goals, Brady Shea, top 2-way defenseman. It's going to be a little smooth skating with these guys. We might not have to work as hard. And they're getting back to that now. So they're getting back to that kind of relentless mindset. It did take them a little while. So they're kind of figuring out, even the guys, like I said, that were there last year know how hard it was. I don't think they, quite remembered exactly how hard you need to work in this league. And they're starting to put a couple good games together, which is really promising, especially 5-on-5. They're starting to figure out a little bit more who they are and how hard they have to play.
Predators analyst Chris Mason joining us now on the Oil Stream pregame show. This one I'm going to ask you because a lot of people wanted this guy here in Edmonton, Dante Fabro. He was waived by the Preds last week, claimed by Columbus. What do you think led Barry Trotz to making a decision and risk losing a guy that's been with the organization for 7 years?
I feel I'm actually happy for Dante, because I feel like he's going to get an opportunity to be a regular every single night. I thought he was extremely solid. He was the type of guy that could come in and really play solid after being out a while. A lot of times he'd get taken out of the lineup, not necessarily because of his play. I think he was solid, but maybe there was other guys that had, different offensive elements, maybe the physical element or the offensive side of things. And he seemed to be the odd man out and could never really get completely in favor. So it didn't work for whatever reason. And I think him moving on and getting a chance and a fresh start somewhere else will be the best thing for his career. And I think when you're not playing it every single night and you're a healthy scratch and you're making $2.5 million, that might have something to do with it too. You don't want someone just sitting there taking up cap space if they're not going to play on the regular.
Yeah, good point. All right, Chris, it could be a special night for number 97 in orange and blue. How much of that do you think could factor into the Preds game plan? And I'll add this. If you were still in net, what would your strategy be on a night like tonight facing McDavid?
Well, pretty much put it this way. I watched the game against the Islanders, and I was thinking, good thing I don't play anymore, because you have to face those guys in this league. It's great. They make it look so easy. We were actually talking about that. I don't know what strategy you have against them, because go look at their numbers against the Predators for the last 16 games. It's absolutely video game. Draisaitl's got 16 goals. McDavid's got like 40 points or something like that. You got to do it by committee. They're going to get their looks no matter how well you play them. You just can't give them anything for free. The last time that Edmonton was in Nashville, someone fell down and gave Draisaitl a breakaway, and and game over. He scored 2 goals. So just try to try to limit them and do it by committee, but don't give them anything for free.
Chris, I really appreciate the insight into the Preds tonight. We'll see what happens, and I look forward to seeing you down at the rink. Thanks for the time.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Take care.
That is Chris Mason, Predators analyst. That's funny. I mean, we were lucky. You get to work with him on a daily basis. We get to see him and work with him as well. It's Joaquin Gage. It's fun to have old goalies around because like they are self-deprecating for the most part, but at the same time, you can see some of the swagger. And then they're the perfect guys to ask about goaltending stuff because it's voodoo to me, as I think his Low Tide would always say to us, goaltending is voodoo. 100% agree with him. But yeah, I thought Mason was great. So that was good stuff.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He was just like, hey man, I just don't have a lot of time. And I was like,
no, I know, and that's how I set it up.
Yeah, he was great though, and I love when you talk to other teams' media, Tom, because you usually have their TV or radio broadcasts on the pregame show. Yeah, and just like when you ask him a Connor McDavid question, it's always like it starts like, like why? Like it's not why you ask me, but like what do you want me to say, man? Like he's the greatest player. Like he's done things no one else has done, and it's just amazing to watch him play. And yeah, the goaltender for the Preds tonight is going to be in tough, trying to stop him. I don't know how you do that, but hopefully Connor can get it done early so then the boys can just focus on the game, Tom.
Yeah, focus on the 2 points. Listen, I think he gets it done relatively quickly. All right, we will get to Matt Cassian with Game Changers shortly. Time now to get to Advantage Sports Medicine Injury Report at Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. We treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. For the Oilers, Victor Arvidsson, minor injury. We didn't get details on what it was. I did see him wincing a little bit after taking a hit last game. Actually, I've seen him do it a couple of times. I would guess upper body, but I could be wrong. We didn't get official details. And Evander Kane, LTIR, abdominal surgery, as we know. As for the Nashville Predators, Tommy Novak, day-to-day, upper body. So there you go. There is your Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report for tonight's matchup between the Oil and the Preds. The question of the night, Nanso, do you want to throw it out there one more time? And then, because I see a few people have responded, which is great.
Yeah. When does Connor McDavid hit 1,000 points? In what period and what kind of point? Is it a goal or is it an assist? So we want to know, and let's see who hits it. I think Gager said first period, I want to say the first 2 minutes, I think he said. He went real early in this one. So I think I said late in the first with an assist. Tom, your choice was?
Like within the first 5 minutes with a goal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going bold here. He gets that party gets started quickly by Connor McDavid at Rogers Place tonight. And then, like you said, and I think this is a good point, they can focus on the game. It's over and done with. Right.
Because you said even last game you noticed they were trying to force it to him, even when the game was kind of tight, and it's just like you don't want that, right? It's just get it over and done with and move on. And I think for them as well, Tom, I'll ask you this question: when he does get it, is it a moment in the game where the whole bench comes off onto the guys?
I think they would allow that. I think they will allow that. Don't expect a ceremony tonight.
Okay.
I've been told that when they come back from the road trip is when they'll do it.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that. Like because it is a big moment, Tom. But I was wondering if the NHL and the refs are okay, we'll allow it. It's got to be quick though, and then you're boom, 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 we're back right into the game. Yeah,
as far as I know, like listen, I know going into the season he was downplaying it. I know that people in the organization are like, "What do you want to do for your 1,000th point?" He's like, "Nothing. I want to keep playing." Of course. and that's so McDavid. But now you kind of heard him talking about it the last few days. He's reflected, thought about players that he's played with, some special moments that he's had with this team and in his career. And that's good. That's a sign of a human being, not a AI robot. So that's an important thing, as much as he can be kind of bland with his media availabilities. Good to hear him have some reflection and thinking about those 10 years almost, or 10 seasons he's spent in the National Hockey League. Don't expect. I think they'll acknowledge it really quickly, then get the game moving again. And then I was told, wait till he gets back, and they'll do a nice ceremony for him for his 1,000th point. He would be the first Oiler since I think Messier to hit the 1,000-point mark, because there's only 3 in Oilers history that have done it. Gretzky, he did it in like 420 something games.
Yeah,
he got to 1,000. Then Curry, and then Messier. So I listen. I was like 4 years old when this happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know which guy got it first, but I would imagine it would have been Jari Kurri, then Mark Messier. So Messier being the last.
Yeah, I just want to say,
34 years ago.
It's remarkable. Listen, Tom, we all do it. We all get frustrated with this team, and we complain about the details and little things like goaltending. But man, like in this city, we've been so lucky, especially if you're a little bit older. You're able to watch the 80s dynasties. You've seen the great of the greats, and now we've been blessed with Connor McDavid in our backyard every day.
Yeah.
And we get to watch the greatness, and not just him, Leon Draisaitl. I think sometimes we take it for granted, Tom, and I include
Fair
myself
point.
in that, because we get caught up in the game and everything that's going on. But man, are we lucky in Edmonton to been able to watch these two guys, especially Connor McDavid, for the last 10 years?
Yeah, coming up on 10, man. 2015. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And he's lived up to the hype, almost taking the Oilers to the glory land, and looking to do that again this season. It was interesting listening to Mattias Ekholm. Speaking of that, by the way, he was saying how the slow start, and he said it, and we talked about it, like that Stanley Cup hangover. He touched on that element, and we're like, all right, enough already. It's been a month. But he talked about now it feels like they're recognizing and putting in the required and necessary work to get them over the hump game to game. You know what I mean? Like they're not, as Cass likes to put it, taking that TV turn at the wrong time, or they're doing it less. And I think that's important, and Ekholm pointed that out. And I think that's a good sign for this team. 6 wins in the last 9 games again, 2 in a row, looking to make it 3 straight, their first 3-game winning streak of the season. So that might be a good indicator from a guy that's been around the game for a very long time. Okay, Cass is almost ready. Let's get to a couple of these texts, 780-218-9999. In regard to the question of the night, when in the game does Connor McDavid get his 1,000th point, and what kind of point is it? Goal, assist, secondary assist? You tell us. Coach Mike texted in 1,000 point on a Hyman goal. Oilers 3 straight wins. LFG, Coach Mike. VR Montenegro, first period. Apple emoji. Nicely done, Mike. And then Waddy and Cloverdale says, McDavid assist on a Nurse goal who had to move up to wing after an early game injury. Waddy and Cloverdale getting creative. And then Stu says, first period assist to Zachary Martin Hyman, not to be confused with Zachary Bartholomew Hyman. Justin says, off to U11 hockey practice. Have a great show. Connor gets his tonight, number 36. All right. Avro Arrow says McDavid does it with a Ranger-esque goal. 11:48 in the first. Book it. The Avro Arrow. I like it. Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. Cass is ready to go. He's got his party cardi on. He's inside his satellite studios, and he is our game analyst. Good day, Matt Cassian. How are you, sir?
Good evening. Let's hope this works the first time with the sound.
Oh, you sound lovely.
Beautiful. Hey, first time in a while. I was having the technological issues, but I'm good. Got the party cardi. Had a lot of family stuff going on, so missed you guys for a couple games, but was watching where I could and listening where I could. And hey, I mean, things are hopefully turning up for the Oilers here, and a big opportunity against the Nashville Predators, both for history, which you've talked about, and we will talk some more about because it's fun, and to just keep the train rolling a little bit here.
All right, well, choo-choo, away we go. Matt Cassian, our game analyst, with Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find the right home or make the move from your current home. And he's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Mr. Cassian, 1K day is numero uno on Game Changers.
It has to be 1,000 points for Connor McDavid, question of the night. Yes. And, rightfully so, we're talking about this. I mean, we are so fortunate, as you guys were just saying, to watch Connor McDavid. The first time that I saw him live at an NHL game, my jaw hit the floor. I mean, you knew, you watched the junior video, you had the expectations, but seeing him live and being able to get up close to see just that first day what he was able to do, I still remember just really having to pick my jaw up the floor, just watching him and being like, whoa, like I've never seen anybody that has the capacity to do this. And it still happens to us all the time. Still happens to me all the time watching him, where I'm like, man, this is insane. Like this guy, the way he's, I don't know if you watch the Netflix show on the quarterbacks, like with Mahomes.
Yes.
But there's so many similarities that I see between him and Mahomes, and some of the things that they can do with their body. Connor McDavid, his ability to separate his upper body from his lower body, where his legs are going one way, generating power, but his shoulders, like somehow he manages to twist and turn the other way. So, which makes him incredibly hard to defend. And very much like Mahomes, who you see, his feet are going one direction and he's turning his body and throwing the other direction, like just ridiculous. So it's such a pleasure to watch, Tom. An incredible accomplishment if he gets it tonight, even if it takes longer. Now, chances are, statistically, historically, he probably gets it tonight.
Yeah.
But such a night. Look for the Edmonton Oilers to be absolutely feeding this guy the rock. I mean, guys are going to want to bury with it. He's going to want to get it. I mean, I hope it's a goal. Again, statistically, probably going to be an assist because he gets more of those. Mm-hmm. But Tom, something that's just fun about approaching that milestone, fun about it being at home, which I think is just absolutely tremendous to be in the building to watch and to have that in front of your home crowd, a big milestone like that, which is just, I think, even motivating for the team in a lot of ways. Not that you want guys, which could be the case, guys going out of their way to be like, oh, we have to get it to him.
Yep.
But just knowing that there's going to be a buzz around that, in the crowd about that, they're getting in the room, they're going to try not to focus on that. McDavid is going to quite surely make it about the team, and he's going to be telling the guys, hey, like, I'm going to get my 1,000th point at some point. If I get it tonight, that's great. If I don't care. I want to win. That's what he's going to be saying to his teammates. But everyone on that bench is going to be looking for it. So I think you're going to have a little bit more oomph from the Edmonton Oilers tonight, just with the reality that, hey, you can have a great player reaching a great, fantastic, amazing, incredible milestone here and be a part of it and be a part of history. It's just a cool night for that, Tom, and I'm excited.
Cass, he would be the first Oilers player to hit 1,000 points in orange and blue since what is it? January 13th, 1991. So that's how long it's been. That was Mark Messier who got it on January 13th.
Been a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, I mean, Tom, how many guys, not very many guys get to 1,000 games, let alone 1,000 points. Like it's an incredible accomplishment. We've seen a couple this year, Tyler Myers out of Vancouver, who I played against for a little bit when he was in Kelowna and then in the NHL, as well as Mikael Backlund in Calgary. I think two guys. I don't think anyone else has hit the 1,000 games this year yet. I think those two are the only two, but it's like, you get one or two of those a year. That's an amazing accomplishment. To do 1,000 points, it is incredibly hard to do. It's hard to get 5 points in the NHL. It's hard to get 10 points, let alone a guy that's putting up over 100 a year and just races to 1,000. So it's amazing. Not something that you're going to see every day. Not something that you're going to see. Well, maybe we'll get used to it because very possible Leon Draisaitl hits it next year. But for most teams and most players, it's not even in the realm of possibilities. So it's a pretty amazing accomplishment and a really fun thing to watch.
Almost 34 years for an Oiler since the last one hit 1,000 points in orange and blue. Jari Kurri, by the way, did it on, where is it here? January 2nd, 1990, Cass, because we were talking a little bit about that earlier in the show. All right, that's point number one. 1K day, Connor McDavid looking for that 1,000th career point. Number two on Game Changers, 11-7, Cass. We have not seen this in a little while.
We have not. And it has worked in the past. Who knows if it's going to work again? I guess we'll see. But there was a part of me, and I said it on the podcast earlier today, or the show, Two Guys and a Goalie, in the afternoons between 12 and 1, Tuesdays and Thursdays, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Yeah. I said, it's like, I'm a little bit disappointed. Bakersfield doesn't play till the weekend. And part of me was like, oh, this is a perfect time with Arvidsson, not feeling well and being out of the lineup to bring in like a Matt Savoy, have a young guy play his first game, get him into it. Offensive guy can try to play him in the top six. And there, in my opinion, was a little bit of an opportunity for that. Now, maybe they're looking at the salary cap and they're thinking, this can be a boon, or, we don't want to bring up a guy and eat up some of that space. So they're maybe chewing through it. So I get it to an extent. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, 12-6 has worked. Why are we going to 11-7? Now, I know you've been trying to rotate defensemen in, so maybe you're viewing this as an opportunity as we can get one more in, and maybe even if we reduce the minutes, at least everyone's playing and staying active and staying in the lineup instead of having one of those guys sit. So I get it, Tom. But at the same time, I kind of look at this, not that it means they're going to lose the game, not that at all, but is a little bit of a lost opportunity to get a young guy in, to give him an opportunity, which is too bad. But that being said, we have seen this before from the Edmonton Oilers, not this year, but in years past, where they've gone to 11-6 and it's worked fine. So just anticipate that it's going to be a little bit of a feeling out for particularly your 5, 6, 7 defensemen, Dermott in particular, stepping into the lineup to see how the game is going, what the game flow is largely going to drive what kind of minutes those guys actually get. And who knows? Maybe one or two of them get a shift up front. Maybe Darnell Nurse plays wing. We will see, but a little bit of a different look for the Oilers tonight with that 11-7.
Stop.
It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. He's not. I
know. As a secondary component to 11-7, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this in a little bit because this guy's kind of come under the gun and in the crosshairs of some people, and I think understandably so. And it's Jeff Skinner. And speaking of gun and using that terminology, like he is a hired gun, and that's how I view him. So him bouncing between fourth line and second line or wherever, is it as big of a deal as maybe some other players in the past that we expect to be offensive power or offensive players for this Oilers team and don't end up being that way? Like, is it a little bit of a different scenario with him just because of his MO, or am I a little bit off on thinking that?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different. I mean, he is a guy that has proven that he can score and that he can put up points. And there have been, I would say there's been a couple of games where he's been really, really good. There have been some games, Tom, on the post-game show, the Oil Stream post-game show, brought to you by Damon Bunting and a whole bunch of other people, that he was the best Oiler forward, where he has the ability at times to kind of mix it up, to get involved, around the net, into scrums, like where he's not necessarily a perimeter guy. And I think at times he has been a little inconsistent, where he's had really good games and he has had games where he's kind of almost deferred with the puck, as Joaquin Gage said this afternoon, where he hasn't, and Reed Wilkins, where he hasn't shot maybe as much when the opportunity is presented itself, and he's tried to make a pretty play or a pretty pass, and through and through, not that he's a pure shooter, but this guy's a goal scorer. Yes. He should be shooting the puck, and maybe at times has struggled to find his groove with that a little bit. Now, part of that too, Tom, maybe that he's used to being the guy, or one of the guys that's expected to score. And this is a unique situation for him where he's not. McDavid and Draisaitl are the guys, and he's supposed to be auxiliary to that and supportive to that, and just hasn't found a way to find his groove. I'm not worried about him. I know there's been some people that have been harping on him a little bit, but ultimately I'm not worried about him. The reality is, though, is that, his minutes will be less if he's not producing offense, and if he's not your defensive stalwart, which he's not going to be. We don't expect him to be, but your minutes are going to come down a little bit. Now, it's been tricky for him to find out exactly where he fits in the lineup. Podkolzin playing well with Draisaitl and looking good with that group has probably kept him down the lineup a little bit, where they were having some success in generating offensive opportunities, so he wasn't getting that. But overall, with the scope of the whole season in mind, because we still have a lot of season left, I'm not concerned about Jeff Skinner and his ability to produce offense. One of the nice things, I know it's Arvidsson, so it's a different style of player, but if you have one of the top 6 guys go down, get hurt, get a misconduct, go off for concussion protocol, whatever it is he is a player that still is able to step in, and you can be reasonably confident that at least in the past he has shown you the ability to produce offense. So I'm not overly concerned about it. I know, again, people have harped on him, and maybe the last couple of games haven't been great for him, but overall he still has shown flashes. And if he can build back to that consistency, even if it's in limited minutes, Tom, I think he's going to be just fine.
Skinner, if you're wondering, 3 goals, 3 assists, team worst -6 so far this season in 16 games. All right, it's Game Changers with Matt Cassian, our game analyst. Game Changers, like Cass mentioned, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Number 1 was 1K day. Number 2, 11-7. Number 3, Cass, and this is something Chris Mason brought up as well a little bit earlier on, Nashville 5v5.
Yeah, they can't put the puck in the net to save their lives 5-on-5 right now. Like, I mean, we could talk about the Nashville power play versus the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill, where Nashville's power play is actually pretty good, running along at a 22.2% clip. But 5-on-5, they can't do anything. I mean, with that 22.2% on the power play, Tom, they still only have 39 goals scored this year. That is third last in the league. And I think it's about the same, either third or fourth last in terms of average, goals per game. They have not found a way to find the back of the net. Now, we could probably pin it on a couple of different things, as you guys talked about earlier, but to a man, they just haven't scored. Ryan O'Reilly with 3 goals. Roman Josi has found a way to produce assists, but he's only got 1 goal. Not that he's a defenseman; he's not supposed to score that often, but he hasn't found a way to put the puck in the back of the net. Stamkos with only 4 goals, Marchessault with only 3 goals. Like, they do not have guys that have found ways to continue to put the puck in the net. And criticism of this team in years past of the Nashville Predators has been, maybe they don't have enough depth scoring. They played a good defensive game, great goaltending, and to an extent, they still have that. They still play pretty solid defense. They still have pretty good or really good goaltending. Even if you look at goals against, Soros he's been playing well. He's been playing well. Now, he doesn't have a great win-loss record, but that's because the team hasn't been giving him any run support in front of him.
That sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar, but you don't hear them being like, hey, this is trading Soros. He's not a number 1 goalie. Yeah, he's a number 1 goalie, but he hasn't got run support in front of him. And, aside from Philip Forsberg, who's, found a way to put the puck in the back of the net a decent amount with 8 goals this year, Tom, they just are not getting any kind of scoring from any of their depth and some of the guys they thought were going to be able to produce offensively. For whatever reason, it just has not clicked. And for the Edmonton Oilers, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who have feasted on the Nashville Predators before in particular, I mean, you have to be looking at this and looking at it as a team saying, hey, they're shaky 5-on-5.
Yeah,
they are shaky 5-on-5. If we play well defensively, and if we make it frustrating for them defensively, we're going to be in a really good spot here. So a game where, again, we could focus on the special team side of it, where maybe the Edmonton Oilers, if their penalty kill can go 100% again, they just did it once. Maybe they can do it again.
Yeah.
You might end up in a pretty good spot, but Tom, a huge opportunity to take advantage of a Nashville Predators team that has just been struggling to score 5-on-5. And the biggest thing that tells me, the biggest thing for the Edmonton Oilers heading into this is no 5-bell mistakes. Make mistakes. They're going to happen. But those huge, egregious, all of a sudden someone's doing something so asinine and unbelievable where you're like, what were they thinking in the defensive zone? That can't happen. Now they've started to clean that up. They've started to clean that up. They need to keep it clean that way. Force Nashville to work for everything 5-on-5. No gimmies here. No gimmies. No leaving guys wide open alone in the slot. Collapse in the middle. Protect the inside of the ice. No huge turnovers in the defensive zone, and you will stifle this team 5-on-5 because they just haven't found a way to get it going.
You talked about their goal scoring per game. They fell actually, Cass, to 30th. And they scored 2.44 goals per game. That is slightly better than San Jose's 2.35 and Anaheim's 2.2. Nashville, with good goaltending from UC Saros, still at a 3.31 goals against per game. And then the other thing with the Preds, I was looking at their stats, like individually, are awful. Their leading point getter is Philip Forsberg with 13. He is a -3 this season. Colton Sissons, who is their second line center, at least tonight he is and has been at times, 2 goals, no assists, -11.
Yep.
Okay. And then Michael McCarron, he's a fourth liner. He's dash 11. Roman Yossi, you mentioned he's got the 1 goal, 10 assists in 16 games, minus 11. Jonathan Marchessault, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points, minus 10. Steven Stamkos, 4 goals, 4 assists in 16 games, minus 11. And Ryan O'Reilly, who is applauded for being, and rightly so, commended for being a good two-way player with pretty sharp offensive abilities, has 10 points, 3 goals, 7 assists, minus 7. Like, there are a lot of nasty numbers here when you look at this Nashville Predators team, and it has led them to a 5-9-2 record. So they are ripe for the picking tonight. I know they probably want to beat Edmonton pretty bad and not get embarrassed, but Cass, I don't like their chances in this one.
No, not if Edmonton shows up. Now, they still have to show up, and I think they will, especially with McDavid being on the edge of the milestone. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely. They are right for the picking, 5-5. Not a team with confidence right now. And if you come out and you play the way you can, if you move pucks cleanly out of your zone and you don't spend a lot of time there, they just have struggled so much to generate offense around the net. That you put them in a really tough space, especially if you can get a 5-on-5 goal early. You know, you get up on them early, they're not scoring goals. And Tom, that doubt and that confidence will creep in almost immediately.
Yep. Take advantage of that, certainly. Cass, the question of the night was, when does McDavid get point number 1,000 and how does he do it? Do you want to take a crack at it?
Yeah. So opening faceoff, he's going to start. Gonna do the old puck through the legs of whoever the other centerman is, split the D and bury it on a self-made breakaway. Probably not going to happen, but that'd be awesome. So
that would be awesome. Going bold on the pregame show and your triumphant return. And I absolutely love it. Cass, fantastic as always, my friend. Enjoy the game, and I'll catch up with you on the postgame show.
Sounds good.
There's our game analyst, Matt Cassian, with Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. Excellent stuff from Cass tonight. As always, great to have him back. I know he's been a busy boy, and it's nice to have him with the party cardi on. Number 1 was 1K Day. Number 2, 11-7. Number 3, Nashville 5v5. It's the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas with you as we get you set for the Oilers and Predators. Text us 780-218-9999. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. We got to 10,500 subscribers. That's awesome. I just noticed that. That's a thumbs up from us to you and a big appreciation from us. Hit that thumbs up. We appreciate that so much as well. Portions of this hour, I will add, are brought to you by Hudson's, Canada's Pub. You are invited to watch any Oilers game, and they like to have the all-day happy hour on game days. They also have a $6 house draft that features the new Blueberry Blonde Ale. Book your reservation now at hudsonscanadaspub.com, or just come on down. That's what we like to do. We like to come on down. We'll be there, Hudson's, White Avenue, on the 21st. Looking forward to being back at Hudson's. Was texting with Connor, GM over at Hudson's White, and they're super excited to have some nasties and our crew down there for the game on the 21st. And Nanso, this Saturday, the 16th, we're at Boston Pizza Westgate. It's going to be a lot of fun. 5 o'clock start. I was texting with Curtis over at BP Westgate. He says they have a ton of giveaways for that one. He was telling me that up for grabs are, I have it right here. A cooler. They're giving away a cooler, speakers, hoodies, and more. See you Saturday, he says. That's from Curtis over at BP Westgate. So come on down. It's going to be fun. My dad, it's his birthday. So we're going to have like family and friends there. He should have a nice big rowdy table for Papa Gazzola's 69th birthday. Ooh, don't tell him I said that. We'll get him a beverage or two.
I'm definitely going to have to go see him for a bit there for sure.
Yes.
Good points by Cass. One of the things with Nashville, special teams is pretty good. Tom.
Yeah, 10th on power play, 1st on PK.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's going to be a good test for a power play that's, it's a little bit better, Tom. I'm not going to sit here and say they're back, but they're going to have to work their butts off. Nashville's a fascinating team, and you're reading out some stats of some of their key players, and it just seems that nothing's going their way right now. Their main guys are chipping in, but not as much as they probably want to right now. And their depth guys really not going. Like the Sissons numbers really stood out to me because he's a quality bottom six player, but you're saying 2 points and a dash 11.
Mm-hmm.
that is no bueno, like we like to say on this show. But yeah it's man, it's going to be an interesting matchup tonight. I just, the fear with the Oilers is I didn't want to use the trap game because I know Nashville's at the bottom right now, but I think they're better than some of the weaker teams in the NHL. Of course, I think they're playing way below what they should be, but that's why I don't like to think of it's trap game. But no. Something similar to that the Oilers can come out and maybe they get the McDavid point right away, and then they just kind of sit back and kind of play the way we were used to seeing them play when they've picked up a few wins and are feeling good about themselves. Let's hope that's not the case, Tom. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I think it's going to be a good night. I really do, Hernan. But you're right. Like, don't let Nashville get confident early. Don't let the moment bother you and affect your game, right?
Yeah.
Because I know that's all the talk is he's going to get the 1,000th point tonight. Don't let this leak into a Saturday in Toronto and give Toronto media an opportunity to feast on this. Take that away from them. Just take it away.
Sean says McDavid will not only score his 1,000th point, he'll make it an extra special and score a Gordie Howe hat trick.
A fight. A fight tonight for McDavid is what we're predicting. Who's that, Gordie?
Sean.
Sean.
He is the last one you want fighting. No. Even though it'd be cool to see that, but no.
Box Pounder says, which BP's location? We're going to be at Boston Pizza Westgate. That's 170th Street, 90th Avenue, right across the street from West Edmonton Mall. Really great location. They have a golf sim there, by the way. $20 an hour to book it. Best rate in the city. And then great crew, fantastic giveaways. And VR Montenegro is like, Ginger is coming for that cooler. So it'll be good to see Ginger at BP Westgate. We're going to be on location a lot in the last couple of weeks of November. The 23rd, Hernan, we're at Kelly's Pub.
Yeah, you said the last post game and Gage was at your place and he just belt out laughing.
Yes, he did.
Kelly's a good spot, man. It's local, like for the downtown crew.
Yep.
It's a good spot and awesome that you guys are going to be there, man. It's a cool little place.
Yes.
I love the street that it's on. I can already see where you guys are going to be set up, and it's it's going to be fun, man. That's an awesome location to go do it, and then so are the VPs, Hudson's, everywhere you guys go is awesome. But Kelly's, it's just a little bit extra special.
It's gonna be fun, and it's part of the Winterval that's happening. So it's a winter festival in and around downtown, and the commish. Quinn Phillips helped get that all set up, and we were looking forward to being down there. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dusty Gassage says, bring in the 2-year-old. Hope the Nasties can help me keep an eye on her so Dad can have some whiskeys. Oh, boy. All right.
Oh, boy. George McLaughlin says, Connor Brown hat trick, calling it now.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's going the other way.
He's going the other way. Okay. Any other bold predictions on when and how McDavid will get his 1,000th point from our lovely listeners and viewers?
I'm trying to find one that you haven't read already. Nothing on the inbox. I'm just scrolling through here. Let's see. There is some good text. I wanted to get one from Rip City Step. City Step. I just got to try to find it here. Because Cass threw out, of course, he was joking. Nurse can play forward too, if for a shift. Rip City Step said, Burns, Bufflin, Strudwick, all the greats did it.
Touche.
I like that. That's a good message. If we had text of the pregame show, that would win it right there. But that would win it. So,
okay, I have updated lineups for this game.
Nice.
For you. Should I get to those?
Yeah.
I think so. That's a good idea. For the Oilers tonight. Hang on, I just had it. Where did I put it? My bad. for the Oilers tonight. Here's what's anticipated. McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Corey Perry getting the bump up to the second line. Adam Henrique with Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown. And then Jeff Skinner and Derek Ryan are your extra forwards. On defense, they're going 11-7 tonight. So all 7 D-men are going. Ekholm with Bouchard. Darnell Nurse paired up with Stetcher, apparently, according to the Oilers. Brett Kulak with Ty Emberson as Dermott slots in as the 7th D-man. Calvin Pickard starting for the Oil. As for the Preds, Ryan O'Reilly between Philip Forsberg and Steven Stamkos. Colton Sissons with Jonathan Marchessault and Gustav Nyquist. Juuso Parssinen centering Philip Tomazino and Luke Evangelista. Michael McCarron with Zachary Leroux and Cole Smith on defense for the Preds. Brady Shea paired up with Roman Josi. Jeremy Lauzon with Alexander Carrier. Mark Del Gaizo with Luke Shen. And starting in net for Nashville, not UC Saros, Scott Wedgwood, who is 1-2 this season, 437 GA, 841 save percentage. Lifetime versus Edmonton, Wedgwood has a 2-2-1 record, 320 goals against average, 919 save percentage in 5 games.
It shouldn't be surprising. Listen, Juicy Saros is an awesome goaltender, but he struggled against the Oilers. And I know we talked about it on the earlier show that we were just saying, like, don't be surprised if they go Wedgwood here. So bold move here by Nashville's coaching staff here. But again, like Saros, as good as he is, there's always the top tier goalies, Tommy, that struggle against certain teams, and you just don't play them. And I think this is the move here. You saw it with New Jersey as well with Markstrom. Jake Allen came in and
yes.
I'm giving bad vibes right now. I'm just going to knock on wood.
Stop it.
I can't give it a shut up, but it's crazy. You know what's funny, Tommy? You were reading out the Nashville lines and Gustav Nyquist. Remember in his early days in Detroit? Like at least I thought this guy was going to not maybe be a star, but a top offensive player. Because he
kind of is.
Well, he scored 27 goals in 2014-15, and then the closest he's been is 23 last year. But I think that year he had 54 points. They were like, man, like he's really good on this Detroit young team and whatever they were at that time, and then kind of just fell off and then went to San Jose, Columbus, Minnesota, kind of all over the place. But again, I think he's a really good NHLer. But I thought he'd be a little bit more of a top-end goal scorer.
75 points last season total. He had a lot of assists. You're right, though.
It's his best year. Best year by far,
And he was 34 last year when he did it. He's 35 now. Always kind of a 40-ish, 50-point guy in his career, so a middle six type forward. But last year he popped off. And, 8 points in 16 games right now on a struggling Nashville club. But, he's a guy that kind of, like, lingered, you know?
Yeah, last year, career year, at 34 years old, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre. I just remember him from his early days in Detroit. I just thought he would be, a consistent, maybe not top line, but top 6 guy and would score more consistent. Now, 40, 50 points every year is pretty damn good in the NHL. What I'm saying is I thought he'd be a little bit better than that. So,
yeah. He's had a good career. We'll say that. He's had a good career. But, maybe not the offensive dynamo you anticipated him to be back in his Detroit days. All right, Nan, so a couple texts to read here and then get final thoughts from you. Sean says McDavid will not only score his 1,000th point, he'll make it extra special, score Gordy. Oh, yeah, you read that one. That was good. Reno asking if that's Ginger from Gilligan's Island. No, Ginger is VR Montenegro's wife. She is lovely, and she makes delicious baked goods and brings them in for us at ESTHQ. Norman of Combine says, Hernan, brisket is just resting. Can't wait. If any left, we'll bring to the office tomorrow.
Sweet.
Oh.
Talked a lot about brisket on our show today because of Norm.
I know. And then Norm added screwball Saturdays and whiskeys on Saturday night. Oh, boy. Look out, Norman of Combine. He's ready to have a party. All right, Ned, so final thoughts as we wind down the show.
Yeah, I think all fans, media, everybody in the NHL world is watching Connor McDavid tonight. Like they always are, but a little more tonight because he's 1 point away from 1,000. When does he get it? Does it come on a goal or an assist? So that's storyline number one for me. But The more important one, I think, is the Oilers got to start building some wins. Hopefully, they can pick up their third win of the season and play some solid hockey. See how they do on the special teams and 5-on-5. First time they're going 11-7 in a long time.
Yep.
So that's another storyline to follow. So excited to see this one, Tom. We'll chat on the post-game show.
McDavid looking for .1000. Gaming 101 says 97 past the 29. Scores off a dump in that bounces off the official and goes in. Oh, okay. Well, I hope that's not how it goes in, but you never know. You never know. Nanso, great work as always. I look forward to hearing your call of the game with Eddie pretending to be Rod Phillips and Morley Scott.
Those days are behind us, man.
I know. That was a great story when I saw Eddie this morning down at the Oilers store. Great to see him. He's a beauty like you. I see where the Latino heat and the Passion comes from in the Salas family. So good stuff there. A big thank you to Chris Mason, Preds analyst, for stopping by, giving the scoop on Nashville. The Oilers seeking that third straight victory like Hernan was talking about. They could get their 9th of the year and improve to 2 games over 500 and clean sweep Nashville. All the while, McDavid, will he get his 1,000th point? I think so. Look forward to talking about it on the GCL Diesel post-game show with all of you, and then some more. For Matty Cassian and Hernan Salas, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the game. Ciao for now, everyone.